This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our podcast series with investment advisor, rep, and fiduciary Kathleen Sanford. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, Kathleen's firm specializes in working with government employees. Specifically for this podcast series, we're focusing on FAA employees and air traffic controllers. You need to go back to a previous episode and hear about the story as to why Kathleen works with this agency, and her husband is a retired air traffic controller. So, Kathleen, welcome back.
Good to be here.
All right, so the discussion today, we're going to break this into two parts because it's a very important discussion for federal employees as they start to look at retirement, is Social Security. And you and I have talked a lot about this in the past, but the first subject we're going to cover here is working past age 65.
Yes.
And how does that impact the federal employee? And then we'll get into some strategy.
Yes. One of the issues that we're having right now is there are a lot of federal employees that are, as they're planning for their retirement, whether it's 62, 65, they really don't know when the best time to take their Social Security if they're eligible to do that. Or they don't have a place to go, so they usually are going to their HR department or their personnel department, for information on working past 65 and how the Social Security or even their Medicare benefits issues, how does it affect them? So we know that the Social Security represents a very, very important part of the federal employee's future retirement. Of course, the FERS paid into Social Security, the CERS did not while they were working. However, your Social Security benefits, one of the good parts about it, let's say if you were a CER, which is what my husband retired under, he worked and earned Social Security credits before he was an air traffic controller. And then when he retired as an air traffic controller, he worked as he taught the new recruits in Oklahoma City. So at that time, he did get paid for Social Security. Even though it was a little bit, it was still significant because that helped pay for part of our Part B premiums, or it could pay for a minute little benefit. But so it does help even though they don't get a large portion of it. Now with the FERS, we know that it's part of the three-legged stool we're talking about. And then, so your Social Security is also important because it's kind of guaranteed income stream that you as the annuitant can't outlive. And of course, we have the COLA, and that also helps with keeping in up with your inflation and so forth.
So for those viewing this session on YouTube or one of our other channels, we're going to put a chart up here. If you're listening in, we'll give you the website where you can go and find this podcast and the video, or we can get you these charts. So let's talk about, you always talk about having a strategy and why that's so important. So can you, I'm going to pull the chart up on the different ages, but could you get into that a little bit?
Yes. When you are approaching, or actually before approaching Social Security, you don't think about how it will affect your actual living, will affect your Social Security. And that's why you should have a strategy and understand how your Social Security will affect you. Because number one, if you are married or even divorced, it affects you in one way or another, especially the 10 years for being married and then you divorce, that affects your Social Security. You're being a widow or a widower affects your Social Security. And even if you're still working, that also affects your Social Security. So you need to be aware of how this affects you And and when I say you need to have a strategy, that means, okay, I am divorced. I know part of my Social Security is not going to be all mine. My former spouse is going to be able to claim part of it. So as we're doing a financial plan, this needs to be put into your plan. And so knowing how it will affect you can either add or take away thousands of dollars of your retirement if you don't pay attention to it. And also married, when you're married, you think, how in the world is that going to affect my Social Security? Well, it's actually when you start claiming the benefits. When does he claim it? When does she claim it? Who has the greatest Social Security? So you need to know all of that so you can max out your best potential. Now, we're going to go into the SERS and the SERS offset. This is another strategy. I will say that this affected me again because we fell into the two Social Security offsets, which is the windfall elimination, or otherwise known as WEP, and the government pension offset. So these affect the SERS annuitants, but not the SERS and offset employees. So the annuitants versus the employees, and you need to understand the difference there. And basically, in general, the longer a person works, the longer the person you pay into the Social Security system, the more you'll receive in the Social Security benefits. So in reference to that chart that was mentioned, we talk about your birth year, and then you see your full retirement age. Of course, most people now that are in the FERS or 1960, was born in 1960 or older, and their full retirement age is 67. And one of the things that you should kind of consider, you think about Medicare, that's at 65. And don't confuse the Medicare issue with your Social Security issue. That's two different situations there. So when to actually start claiming your Social Security benefits is really an important decision. And it's usually based upon certain factors, such as life expectancy. I have had clients who say, well, I'm going to start collecting at 62 because most of us are dead before we're 70, okay? And then you have physical wellness. Well, I've got diabetes, or I've got, cancer or something, so I don't know how long I'm going to live. Disabled children. Sometimes people want to take it earlier because of their disabled children. So you might be eligible to take your Social Security benefits at age 62, but the question you should ask yourself, should you?
Well, that's a question that comes up a lot. And so on the screen now, you have an example of the impact of delaying Social Security. So we're gonna discuss that. Can you talk about that chart? I think it's somebody that was born in 1957.
Yes, this is just a basic example that I was able to get, and this is about a person that has retired in the year 2019. Of course, we know that is past, and their birth year is 1957. So if you look at the chart on the left, that you'll see that his full retirement age is 66 years and 6 months. So if you have elected, without considering being divorced or anything else, this is just a kind of like a straight, figures here without any of the, I'm going to use the term distractions. So if you're age 62 and you say, okay, I want to take my Social Security based upon this chart here, it's $1,740. Now, if you wait to your full retirement age, again, which is 66 years and 6 months, that's $2,400. Now, if you wait to age 70, and that is the maximum that you can delay your Social Security, you will get $3,072. So you are guaranteed to receive an 8% yield from your full retirement age to age 70. And this is basically called your delayed retirement credit. So you have an option here at 62 to receive the $1,740. If you wait to your full retirement age, that's an increase of $1,332. So when you're considering your retirement plans, this should be a factor to consider, because you got to consider what your tax bracket is. You know, this is just
Right.
money without being taxed or anything. So you got to put all of your income together and see which is the wiser decision, taking it early at 62, at full retirement age, or get your delayed credits. And there's some more factors to consider when you are thinking about what age you would like to claim it.
Well, and I think that just based on what you shared with the audience right there, that if you wait till 70, you know, it's a guaranteed 8% more per year in benefits. So that delayed retirement credit could go a long way.
Yes, and especially since the fastest growing age population right now is the population that's over 100 years old. Because we used to do financial planning and count the man at 80 and the woman at 85. Then we moved it up for the man to be 90 and the woman would be 95. Now when we're doing financial plans, we're even considering age 100, because that extends your retirement years, and we have to plan for those years.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
this is an important part of the puzzle for you to consider.
Well, and this is probably a good place to stop for part one, because there's a lot to consider. And as a teaser for our next session, we're going to get into the suggestions and strategies for federal employees who've reached their full retirement age. So this is a good stopping point for part one of two sessions on Social Security. This is great information, so I appreciate you sharing it with us today.
You're very welcome.
So for those of you that would like more information on Kathleen's firm and a Fed resource, check out fedchecklist.com, the 12 questions you need to ask before retiring. You can also post questions for Kathleen there. Let us know that you attended the podcast. You can also download a retirement booklet that has a worksheet and budget in there. And Kathleen offers a complimentary retirement consultation, so please take advantage of that. So, all right, this wraps up our session. Thanks again, Kathleen. We'll look forward to part two here next week, and the audience look forward to that upload. And so this concludes our session for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. That's a wrap. Although it didn't come on and say it's.
It's not very long.
It was about 15 minutes. I think that's good. Yeah.
Is it that long? Okay.
Yeah, it was. So let me, I think the pause button stopped, but I'll go back and edit that. So, yeah, I think that was good. I think breaking it up is good. I think you touched on some important subjects. I learned something. I didn't realize it's 8% to delay it that long.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I'll edit the back end of this, send it over to you, and then what we'll do on the second one is just start with the suggestions and strategies. So you have those bullet points, and I think that's probably another 15, 20 minutes. So we'll just make it part one and two, okay?
Okay.
So let's get that booked next week. And
Okay,
I think we're 5 chapters in now.
okay. All right, so next week would be, oh, I don't know why this always does this. Next week is like, okay, Monday's out. Okay. What would be a good time for you next week?
Let's see here. Calendar up. Tuesday. Man, this month's flying by. Tuesday I could do 12:30 to 1:30.
What about Wednesday?
Wednesday, I could do 11 to 12.
That sounds good.
All right, let's do that. All right, I'll put that in there. Shoot you an invite, and then it's booked. So, okay. I will get you a copy of this. I'm gonna have to edit the back end, but we'll do part 2. And then look for the invite on Wednesday also for the Q&A, and be thinking about some questions for the tech side, okay?
Okay, we'll do.
All right, you have a good weekend.
You too, thanks. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right, take care, bye.